People, deluded. If you're not going to take anything away from my videos, people, make sure you download the OneFootball app. It's a terrific application developed by the guys over at the OneFootball Network. Make sure you visit my description for more of that. If you don't want to do that, go on the OneFootball Network website. It's a terrific application, people. I can't just say that enough, and I'm not just saying that for the sake of it. Why I like it? It allows me to stay on top of every bit of information there is in regards to football. It doesn't matter if it's transfer speculation, results, fixtures, manager talking points, player talking points. They have everything covered, and the sheer velocity and in-depth of some of the content, you can't put a price on it, people. The one big feature I like out of everything, when it comes to transfers, they've got it on top. They tell you exactly where the rumour or the information was first brought out, more or less. And it tells you how the strength of the rumour. And it also tells you what that could mean for the team moving forward with fellow supporting articles. It is the #1 application for the general football fan. And in fact, not even the general football fan, the honest football fan. The fan that really loves football. If you really love football, you'll download the OneFootball app, people. Because for me, it is the best on the market. Like I said, link is in the description. Visit their website. Link is in the description. Link is in the description. Link is in the description. People, I don't want you lot to do yourself a disservice, and you lot are the real followers because you follow me. Make sure you download the OneFootball app. People, deluded. I'm out. People, deluded. I hope you all can hear me. I hope I'm sounding great and them things there. I know a couple of you are not having issues, and a lot of you do have issues with my sound, but please bear with me as I try and get through this and stuff. I promise you will see bigger and better content as I get bigger and bigger. Fridays equals Q&A days. As you lot know, 2 p.m. deadline, English time as well, like I always put on the YouTube community page. Thank you very much for your questions, people. Snapchat, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Even though I'm terrible with Facebook, admittedly, I need to improve because there's a lot. That's a big database of people, and obviously I don't want to sell you guys short. Facebook is a weakness of mine. I need to pattern up on that. But thank you very much for the diverse questions, however you've got them in. If I've missed you out, don't feel any way, people. I try my best not to miss people out, and like I said, 2 p.m. deadline on a regular basis. I won't lie, I go through the questions, people, and I see like man are asking a question like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours after, innit. Like there's not much I can do with that, innit. And I'm not trying to diss anyone, but I'm trying, innit. Give a guy a bone, throw a guy a bone, innit. Let me help me work with something. But let's crack on, man. There's bare questions. I don't know. There was one question I really liked. I'll know when I come to it. Did I put it at the bottom? Should we start from the bottom? We ain't done that for a while. Let's start from the bottom, people. S has asked, I can't say your name, my guy, man. Is it Shervin? Forgive me if I've mispronounced it, but you've asked. You know to ask me that question. Ozil's chapter, is it completely finished at Arsenal? Now, these sort of ones, you know me. I like Ozil as a player. I don't think we've got bad players again beyond the obvious suspects, people. Now, people have made their camps. For me, on one hand, if it was me, I could persist with Mesut Ozil. I could use him. I could take a leaf out of Unai Emery's book and use him in the way we're using him, in that some games he plays, some games he doesn't, sort of thing. Not like Wenger that he's always playing in that. Especially if we're not going to bring some creative players in. Obviously, I would like Emil Smith-Rowe to get chances in that sort of 10 role. But if we're not, I can't really expect him to hit the ground running too tough in it. So he'll get chances. But if we're not going to bring a Hakim Ziyech in or someone that's creative but not this poetry emotion stuff, then I've got to probably keep Ozil as a creative player. And that goes for Nketiah as well. Both of them probably should be moved on to wages and that. We're going to get onto the other side. But I'd have to keep one of them between the two. I'd probably lean more to Ozil, but something tells me Nketiah will find better. Like, it'll be easier to sell Nketiah. I don't know why. I said that in the last vid. On the other hand, of course, Ozil, there's no way around it. I love him, but he has stagnated. We know he's a baller. We know eye of the needle pass, 10 passes, the accuracy is 100%. All of these mad sort of things. We know Ozil is a technically amazing footballer and he does that. But at the end of the day, at times I think he's been unfairly scapegoated numerous times throughout his career here and this season. But often than not, he hasn't cut the mustard and he's hidden like the rest of the players and not quite did it, innit. At the age he's at, the way football's evolved, Unai Emery, if he doesn't want to use him, then you know me, innit. I'm not big on these fairy tales and these dramas that persist with my football club, the club that I love, innit. So I don't believe no player, if it's not Lionel Messi, Ronaldo, or for me anyways, Thierry Henry or Patrick Vieira, every player can be replaced unless you're Messi and Ronaldo. So it's time to keep it moving. If we can find a buyer and things, and the management and everyone wants to move forward and get him off the books, then all means. But if he stays, I'm gonna support him. And not even that, Mustafi, for example, I believe we cannot move forward with Mustafi. Mustafi would barely, at a push, he might get 10 games next season. For me, next season, people, if I was his gaffer, I'm not if I was in it. But if he's here next season, regardless of what I feel about him or Nketiah or Rose or Xhaka, I'm going to support them, innit? Because it don't make sense me knowing, just because I don't believe in you, it don't make sense me bashing you and moaning and things. Sometimes it's good to have a good moan, but that's not me as a person. So it probably is finished. Depending on if he can get a move, who knows, my G, because right now he's comfy. He's just got married. Suppose he wants to start a family, whether it's in Germany or here. He loves London. He's got friends in the Arsenal camp. Obviously chills with the Colas and the people we see on Snap. He's comfy here. He's got his big deal, and until 2021, he's comfy. He doesn't need to force it. He's happy at Arsenal, regardless of Emery. So the ball's kind of in his court. If we can get a buyer and force him out, then they'll do their thing. But I'd be inclined to believe it is finished here, purely because I'm tired of the gossip and all the, I just want to watch my football club, my guy, and just deal with the on-field matters. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. I feel there's too many storylines with Arsenal. If it's not Ozil, it's Xhaka. If it's not Xhaka, it's Emre. If it's not Emre, it's this guy, it's that guy, it's this guy leaving, this guy coming in. All of these sort of things. I just want to be able to just, one day, people just purely make vids about Arsenal winning, Arsenal drawing, Arsenal losing, and things like that. Obviously, talking points and all these things will always persist with football. But great question, man. And I'll never tell you guys, but Q&As I always find, I don't feel nervous, but I got to get into the groove of it, innit, people? And that was a real good one. We've been there for 5 minutes, my guy, man. Sorry, people, but hopefully I've given you my thoughts. Y2's asked, no Invincibles, and you can win numerous Champions Leagues, but you win no Premier Leagues. Are you trying to take shots at Liverpool with that one there, my guy? But that's a tough one, because again, another good question. I love the Champions League. I'll do anything for this football club but some beauty stuff and selling my soul to get the Champions League. I really want the Champions League. It's not going to happen, but I want the Champions League, innit? So they define numerous, though. Is it what? Is it La Decima and what 10, 11 that Madrid got or something like that? If it's a thing like that, then I can't lie, I'll probably side with that. For me, people, the Champions League just looks so lovely, like, just so beautiful. But the Premier League's a bad boy thing as well. And as much as you win the Champions League, I do want to win the Prem. But if it came down to it, I believe the Champions League is, if I was a player of any standard like that, that'd be the one trophy I'd really want in my career at club level. If I could walk away with the Champions League, that's it for me. Obviously, league titles is a big thing for me, but define numerous, my guy. That could be 5, that could be 50. Good question, man. Good question, my guy, man. Hopefully I've answered that. BM's asked, realistically speaking, can you see any of the current players seeing out their careers at this club? Probably not, my guy. I would love Holding too if he develops. You lot know I never want Torreira to leave. I think he's going to keep it moving. Probably more chance of the homegrown players, but we've been down that route. So I'd say not really, man. Seeing's believing. It's a rarity now. At best, we just have to hope the young players, when they blossom, and the likes of Torreira, just enjoy them while we're here, man. Like, personally, I know this myself, but the one player that really got me like loving players again and never wanting to leave was Alexis Sanchez. Like, I still remember the day we signed him. I thought it was a lie, people. Like, with his pictures, I thought it was a Photoshop thing. And like, I went to the game against Palace, like the aura Alexis had in it, and I knew myself, don't get the names of players' shirts in it, but Alexis gassed me. He was the last one to do that, and then I ain't really done that since. What you're looking at, Thierry Henry in my lifetime, really and truly, my guy, man. I have no name on the back of my shirt but my own. So I'd say no. So at best, enjoy them. But if you're Rob Holding, if you're Torreira, if you're Maitland-Niles, if you're Reece Nelson, if you're Emil Smith-Rowe, if you're Amici, Saka, never ever leave this club, innit? Never leave this club. Yeah, man. Holding as well, better than Cannavaro on that. But next question. What are your Amir's asked, what's your feelings on Nketiah? We know he's very talented, but do you think we should give him more chances or loan him out? More chances next season or loan him out? If you watch me on a regular basis, I speak about this. So my real subscribers, obviously you will know my answer to this question. But I think this season he should have got chances with Wells being injured. Emre's the one seen him week in, week out. So he's obviously there. He's not. This is what people remember. Like, for all their talent and potential and stuff, these men are still learning. Like, how many career first team level appearances has Eddie Nketiah made? He ain't made 100, so he can't be established. He's probably made 20, and I might even be rich there. You've seen him score goals for fun at youth level. He's done it at first team level. Scored against Burnley and the 2 goals against Norwich. Struggled against Blackpool. He's still learning. For me personally, if I'm him or his agent, for all the time he's been on the bench to playing, it doesn't really correlate. If he's going to get chances next season, then fair enough. But he's just turned 20. If I'm his agent or him, I need to be playing football. And I need to have an honest conversation with Unai Emery. Training week in, week out. How realistic is it that I have a good chance of starting on the weekend or featuring some part? Because if that's the case, people, he has to convince Unai Emery, or Unai Emery has to be convinced that he can compete with what's-his-face, Lacazette and Aubameyang. Obviously, we know they're better strikers than him, but he needs to genuinely believe that if something happens to them, you can be called upon, or I can rest one, or I can do different options, like he did with Wells. Clearly, he knew, and we all know Wells is not prolific and not in the same bracket as them 2 strikers, but he offered something. You see how much Wells played to the point prior to his injury where it was kind of surprising, and to be fair, he was showing his face, because I'm showing back the faith, because I swear Wells was doing fairly decent in front of goal until his injury. So there's that. With that, you would have saw it. I think he likes him, Unai Emery, but it might be he wants to see something more. Maybe he just doesn't truly believe in him, because there's been times we've been chasing games. You'd think a striker, the only one on the bench, young or not, come off the bench. But no, you're not seeing that. You're seeing creative players. You even see Kolasinac come off the bench when we're chasing games. Again, Unai Emery is under pressure and several other things. But if you're Eddie Nketiah and you're seeing this, clearly the manager believes in you, signed a new deal. But is he ready to take that leap of faith that could possibly come with the backlash if you have a bad game? If he has a good game, if you have a good game, you're a genius. If you have a bad game, why is he doing that, innit? Because that's what fans do. Fans will be screaming for Eddie to start. The minute he starts and he's a bit woeful, they'll be saying, get him out and that. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's a tough decision. He has to sit down and realistically, Emery, am I going to feature? Not just necessarily through the flank, through the middle, in some other way. Just, am I going to feature? Can I compete? And am I going to have a decent chance of starting in the weekend or rotating or getting definitely more minutes than this season? That's a question, like I said, for him, his agent and Unai Emery. If he isn't going to get that, then you need to go on loan where you can compete and train all week and have a chance for that, because 23 football is a graveyard, people. He's completed it. He's won the 23 title. Eddie Nketiah could score goals in his sleep at that level, people. At his sleep. And it's not just him. Joe Willett needs to go and play football as well, because he's badding it up when he plays, and there's a couple others. Moving on, though. Good question, Amir, and big up yourself. Stay safe and that. Omar Zarks. Now, Omar, big up yourself, car. You're a madman. Your work rate's like mine. Every vid I see you saying first. I think I held you up as well. If you're not saying first, you're saying good show, or you're offering your opinions. You're really watching my thing on the madness, innit? And big up yourself, man. I think you said you're in Kenya, so big up yourself, man. I do see these things, people. You've asked, what do you make of Xhaka saying he's ready to be captain? Well, it's nice that, regardless of what I feel about Xhaka himself, my guy, it's nice to hear a player wants to relish that responsibility. Personally, in terms of captain, I must admit I'm having a tough time seeing who can be captain within this club off the top of my head, and that's not a disrespect. If I had to do it on the top of my head, I'd probably actually say Socrates, to be fair. And I wouldn't necessarily give it to Lacazette, but probably Lacazette off the top of my head. Torreira, maybe just because of say Torreira was good in that, but I don't really see. I see guys that can stand up to be counted, but I don't really see a captain standing out like that per se, my guy, man. And away from the armband, I don't really see that sort of breed in it. But I wouldn't make him the captain, but I like to hear that, and he has been captain, so it's up to Unai Emery. He deems Xhaka. One thing I'll give about Xhaka is he's not a yatty in it. He's not soft in it. For whatever you think about his ability, he can take things and he relishes responsibility, regardless for the mad things he does on the pitch. I like that about him, man. And he's not on getting roughed up and that. So if Emery deems he should be captain, then he'll be captain, innit? Jordan's asked, do you think Maitland-Niles has the opportunity to play in midfield with the amount of players we're being linked with in midfield? Does he have a chance in midfield with the current options? Because he's played a lot of football, but it's at fullback. At the end of the day, minutes are currency, and he's played games. It might not be through the middle or on the flanks like he's been, but he must have learned some stuff. The penalty he conceded against Giroud, he must have learned something, learned a lot in all of these sort of games. So he's got football. As this goes on, you run the risk of being a jack of all trades, master of none. If you ask me, his future is in centre mid. You can't rule out, football's a weird game. You can't rule out his future being at fullback, regardless of how inconsistent at times he can be there. And he said he wants to be a winger. You lot know I'm a big Maitland-Niles fan, but I can't see you being a 10 goals, 10 assist season sort of player. If you can do that, I hold my hands up and I support you lot. No, I'm Maitland-Niles FC, but I don't think that's your thing, my guy. So if before I even talk about new ones, will he get options there already? With the current options, without talking about new players, people coming in, you'd be inclined to believe they would play, but I would definitely consider Maitland-Niles in the midfield role. 3 midfielders, Torreira, Maitland-Niles, and it'll probably be Xhaka, or it could be Guendouzi. But if ideally, in an ideal world, if we can bring in a decent midfielder, similar to Torreira, box to box, tigerish, defensively switched on, then can have a beautiful thing. It's easy for me to say it and you to say it because we're not managing, but I definitely would have given him chances. But will he get chances is another thing, my guy. Gotham's asked, how likely are any of these transfers in your opinion? My word, you've asked 10, my guy. You're going mad. But Kieran Tierney, I would love it, but seeing is believing. I don't know how likely it is, because I'm not a transfer man. I'm a fan, my guy, like you. I don't know. I really don't know. But out of 10, in terms of if it could be feasible, I'll say feasible, my guy, if they're feasible. 5, I'll give, again, I'm not a transfer man, but Carrasco seems to be happening, my guy. That's your second name. So I'd say give that an 8. Sampdoria duo, I'll give them a 4. Anderson and what's the other one? Dennis Praet he's referring to. I'll give that a 4. Pellegrini, I give that a 2 from Roma. I don't think it's going to happen. Claude Maurice, I wouldn't mind it. And I think he's a decent player, so I'll give that a 5. The guy at Fiorentina, I can't say his name. It begins with a V. Give that a 3. I don't think it's happening. Joe Jordan, give that a 0. I don't think it's happening. Calabria, hopefully I've said his name correctly. The St. Etienne centre-half, I can never say it. I would love it to happen, my guy. I want that to happen. My heart wants to say a 10. I'm going to say a 2 in it. Kabach, I don't think it's going to happen. So that's a 0. Decoram, a 0, my guy. Hopefully I've answered your question to a good standard in terms of feasibility. Cryptic Gods asks, which 3 players would you like to see in the starting lineup realistically? My personal opinion is Decore, Torreira and Ziyech. I would... Kieran Tierney at left back because it's feasible and it's off the back of the other question. In an ideal world, if we give the money, Calabria at centre half, and I don't know, I can't answer another question. Can I say an in-house player? I'd say Reece Nelson, my guy. Next question, Kenneth Sarts. Given our defensive record last season, what details need to be cleaned up in terms of positional awareness on and off the ball, new players coming in and leaving, tactics, or should we just rebuild? Everything you said is a rebuild, my guy, and we need to rebuild fundamentally. I've spoken about a lot of these things in regards to my tactics boards, so I suggest you check out all of them sort of vids, and I will continue speaking about them on in general. But off the top of my head, clearly, in terms of, I'd say, real football fans get me when I say filling in space. If a midfielder's seen that his fullback's gone to close something down, immediately having the competence to just fill in that space for him until he can get back. So just being switched on and following runners, 2 banks of 4, just going back to traditional things, sort of, my guy. Just mainly off the ball and being switched on. Because it doesn't matter if it's at corners when we're slow to react, midfield runners, people not being aware of generally off the ball. These are the sort of things. So positional awareness on a broad thing is one. I'd say mentally, like I made a video about it that I think I've released it today as well. Today at the time of recording this vid, quick plug of that. So psychologically, in terms of I always say physics, the other word for it, but psychology, we need to go back to basics. Defensively, 2 banks of 4, positioning, movement off the ball. I'd say defending crosses as well is a big thing. We've improved in that slightly, but that I'd actually say off the ball in an attacking sense, because Arsenal, I think we're too easy to play against. We're quite slow. We're not the most robust in midfield. We consistently look for collage and try and whip an overhit or underhit crossing. So we need to be a bit less predictable. In terms of new players coming in and going, we need a centre half. I would love a left back and a midfielder and a winger at a push just the two defensive positions I've just named. In terms of leaving, my guy, you know yourself, the players that need to be moved on at this point. I know you're an intelligent man based on what you've asked me. So next question brings me to Ayo. Thank you for your question, Kenneth, by the way. What do you think of Moussa Diaby, the under-20 France international in PSG? Looks really explosive. Positively frustrating, like I said in the latest video I did about him. I think if he could just polish up a few things, he could be a fairly decent player, man. I think he's still developing. I think end product he needs to work on doing the right thing at the right time to go up a bit. But I do like him, man. I think he's a good player and I'm keen to see his development. I think he's had some so-so games when France was still in the under-20 World Cup. But yeah, that's my opinions on him. George has asked, George, your question's been deleted, but I think I remember yours off by heart, you know. I think yours was in relation to Rob Holding and Callum Chambers as a defensive partnership. Well, they certainly have a bromance until Rob Holding appears to have got a girlfriend now and he's always in America and that, and Chambers went on loan. In terms of a regular partnership, I actually don't mind Chambers, but I think for Holding, this thing can bang. But I think Chambers, beyond being a squad player, rotation option, it's going to be hard for him at this club. I would like him in the squad and things like that. I actually don't mind Chambers. He gets ripped and that, but I think he's decent. And I think even when he was playing against Chelsea, Atletico, with Mavropanos and Mavropanos and him and Maitland-Niles done well at Old Trafford a couple seasons ago. I think obviously he's got ripped in it. We remember what Jefferson Montero did to him against Swansea a couple years back. But I like Chambers. But as a regular pairing, I would love to be proved wrong, but I don't think that could be the thing. Holding can be the thing with someone else, but I don't think Chambers can be of that. I think he can be a reliable defender and be called upon and do his thing, but in regards to that partnership, I don't know, man. It could be they do have a good understanding, and as a rotation option, as a general option for Unai Emery to call upon if he doesn't sell Chambers, who's been linked with a lot of clubs, even some Italian teams. Who knows, my guy? Good question. Jay is asked, I just want to know, when are we actually going to start signing and selling players? Like, who are we buying or selling? I have no clue. I'm keen to see movement, my guy, as well, man. But I'm just sitting on the fence, sitting on my hands, just like you. We'll see, man. It's early days, my guy. Love, though. Adrian Jacobs asked, how do you think we'll set up next season? I have to see how we are in pre-season and the signings we make, my guy. I don't know, man. I can't see into the future in that regards. Tashi, forgive me, I said your name wrong, but you've asked, shouldn't we be looking at players from Atletico Madrid like Juanfran, Luis, etc., who are vastly experienced and are going on a free? Maybe, my guy, maybe, but maybe in terms of age, they're not prudent. Felipe Luis, in terms of the left-back position, I suppose he could do a job, but nah, who knows, my guy, who knows? Good question. Alex Alerts asked, what three players would you like to see promoted to the first team? Good question. Off the top of my head, that one's good. Saka and Amici. Now, I don't feel clearly either is ready to be a regular in that you're going to start week in, week out if they have to earn that. But I feel using them couple minutes here and there, they can be used. So if that's technically classed as promotion, I would say them two. They'd be the main two for me. Like, there's some other players. I like to see Tyrese John Jules get a couple chances. Him or Nketiah get more chances, to be fair with you. I'm not sure for promotion, but I'd like to see Daniel Ballard make his debut. I think he's developed very well and worked quite hard since he's been at this club, man. So I'd like to, maybe not promotion, or if he earns it, do his thing. But I think he's done his thing, man. So I'd probably say Amici, Saka. I'd like to see John Jules and Nketiah get chances. Greenwood's probably needs to show a bit more before he gets that first team appearance. Based on what I've seen, he's done quite well, but needs to play to a higher standard. Probably be that, to be fair with you, man. I'd like to see Willock either go on loan and play on a regular basis or get some chances here. But the two, I can't say three, but the two that, to really answer your question, would be Saka and Amici for me, people. That's what I would be on, innit? I'm of the belief, I know we need a winger, but if the money's really this tight, my guys, if it's really, really this tight, I'm just saying, go decent on a centre-half, a left-back. We know Amici and Saka, like I said, and Nelson, they're all going to be young. Nelson, if that counts, all going to be young guys, but might as well give them a chance. Do you see what I'm saying? Let them do stuff, because it doesn't matter who's been out there on the flanks. I know Iwobi's had some good patches, but no one's really convinced, and I don't think they would have done any worse than a couple of players. They're still developing, like I said, and I won't really count on them to do their thing, but yeah. Oh, how can I forget? Emil Smith-Rowe. Saka, Amici, Emil Smith-Rowe. Yeah. Yeah, you see, there's off the top of my head, that one's long, man. That's the answer to your question, my guy. Them three. Good, man. You look that question there was mad because you just saw how much I like young players, innit? I just named bare, man, innit? But good question, Alex. You've also asked me, if Liverpool win the league next season, can the argument be made that they're the biggest club in England, most trophies in England, most successful in Europe, more successful in Europe than United, about the same number of league titles as United? United would still be United for me, but that's a question for them, man, up there, innit? I'm an Arsenal fan, I don't know, man. For me, United would, do you know they're both big clubs, man? I know United's fading away, but if you ask me this question again, for the sake of it, I'll say City, because I've got too many friends that support Manchester United, but United would probably still be the biggest in England. Liverpool would definitely be the place where it's at, and at the biggest at this moment in time, historically United, to be fair with you. Have you asked me another question? No, you haven't. So thank you for your questions, Alex. Omar asks, I just wanted to ask, I butchered your question. Just a question I wanted to ask. I've seen quite a few comments on your videos where they said, why did I answer this? Better than Arsenal Fan TV. No disrespect, my guys. You lot know I love you. But they've said better than Arsenal Fan TV or along them lines. What do you make of this? Most Arsenal fans I know do not appreciate the content of Arsenal Fan TV or down it heavily. So do you take the comments as a compliment, or are you a bit abrasive to it? Well, first and foremost, shout out to Arsenal Fan TV. I wouldn't say anybody gave me my chance because I came in here talking my own thing, but I've only got positive things to say of the platform and the people that I've been around. As for people that go on there and act like clowns, and you know how this is, not just that platform, but use the platforms in general to act a fool and do things, I can't speak for that. But as for Robbie, people behind the scenes, Robbie's brother as well, he's a funny guy as well, man, especially when we talk about football. I really like Robbie's brother, man. Not going to bait up man's name and that, cause I don't know if he wants to be in the limelight like that. But Turkish and that, cool brothers. Like, I can't speak for how any other person perceives anything, but I've only been around positivity. Robbie, like I've previously said, he's a busy man, but when I've really asked him for a couple of advice, and when I first met him, called me randomly at the night, in the middle of the night, more or less, not too late, he's not on a mad thing, but called me in the middle of the night, had a good hour's chat with me, talking about things, Arsenal and things in general, and stuff like that, which he's his own man with his own time. He's got kids, he's got channels to run. As much as I would like that, nobody in life owes you nothing. Like, he didn't have to do that, innit? So I can only speak positively for what I've been around, the people I've been around on the platform where you see me interact with, innit? I can't be accountable for no one else's actions. I can't speak for anybody else's opinion. I'm just Deluded Gooner doing my thing. I don't trouble no one. I just talk about my young footballers and them thing there with my 9.5k subscribers or so. Like, I don't be causing no nothing. Obviously, it's like a music game. If obviously I'm on my own lane, but in general, if someone is saying your channel's the best, or dislike, or you're the best, or you're this and that, I don't listen to the negative or the positive. But that's what you want to hear. You could say it's a bit flattering and things like that. Of course, people are in general to say that. I'm sure, for instance, people might say X YouTuber, this Y YouTuber's thing is better than this or that. I can't. If people, listen, as you can see, I don't disable my comments. Like, you can say what you like. This is the world we live in life. When you're putting content out there, people can make their opinions, innit? Good question. I just do my thing, innit? What people want to comment, what people want to say. As you can see, people, I don't want no problems, innit? If problems come my way, I don't got to talk too tough. But I just want to make my vids and do my thing, innit? I can't, like you said, with most fans, they don't appreciate the content and things like that. That's for them to answer for them, innit? All I can do is be myself and be accountable for what I say, what I do, and what I consume. Fans are mad in general. Like I said, the world we live in, fans love some of the more followed YouTubers religiously. Some people hate me religiously. Some people love me religiously. This is why I pay no mind, my guy. Like, all the praise, of course, you don't want to see hate. Like, it's rattling sometimes. Like, I don't pay attention to the hate. But so, like, the other day, like, I woke up at 5:30, people. I woke up at 5:30. I said I done this, wipe the morning things before I'm going in the shower. Took the morning thing out my eye. Turn on my phone bright as hell, obviously, because early in the morning. I go in my comments, F you, Deluded, chatting rubbish. I'm like, right, like, this is how the day's going to start. Mad. Like, this is how the day's going to start. Obviously, we see positivity, like, a couple times, like, I'll be just mad down, not down, but, you just mellow and things like that. I see comments or I get a little message and it boosts you, innit? It's nice to know people like my content, people think I can do this and that. Like I said, level-headed, but I can't, I don't know, for the, I've answered your question, but for people not downing things too heavily and people not appreciating it, that goes down to opinions and consumption. I'm not accountable for that, people, my guy. I know you're just asking me, but I'm not accountable. You could watch, I don't know how much you watch Deluded. You could watch me religiously, you could watch me sporadically. That's on you, innit? It's not on me. It's not on no one, innit? I can't speak for no one and them things there, but I think it's a good platform. It presents people like myself and anyone. If you want to go up there, I'm not gonna lie, I hate lining up, but in general, but if you want to go line up, talk your thing, you can talk your thing. The problem is when people want to be clowns, and the sad thing is when people want to be clowns and they get a bit of clout from it, and that's where the first vid that they banged on, then of course people are gonna point their fingers at channels and say, oh, you're this, you're that. Robbie can't control that. Robbie can't, good and bad. Like Robbie tell you, he can't control that. Like, he just doing his thing regardless, like everybody on the channel and people in general. Like, don't know why. Obviously, I'm on Arsenal Fan TV and shout out to themselves, shout out to Arsenal Fan TV and that. But I'm DG. Like, I don't know. Always things like this. It makes me mad. Like, I don't know, my guy. I don't know. But good question, Omar, man. Good question. Hopefully, I've given you the answer you want. Paul's asked, why are negotiations taking so long to bring new players in, and who's possibly to blame? Is it that the players are greedy, or is it that Arsenal was stingy? Apologies, I butchered your question. Who knows, my guy? Like I've told you, I believe the bulk of business that we're about to hear when the window properly opens was done in the coming months. But it could be anything. It could be agents. Players are greedy. Some players are happy to take stuff. Silence at times, maybe not necessarily in our case, but is golden. You just have to wait and see, my guy, man. It could be players are greedy. It could be people holding Arsenal, not just Arsenal, but teams in general to ransom. English teams have it harder. Everyone knows you got money. Right? Everybody knows. Well, we're broke, but everybody knows Arsenal's got more money than some other foreign clubs. Everybody knows how desperate we are in certain situations, so they can leverage that. So I'm not too sure, my guy. We'll have to see it develop. Ghost has asked. Another good question. A lot of you asking me a lot of questions away from football today, innit? But Ghost has asked, how do you stay focused from moment to moment? To be honest with you, I'm not perfect. I lose focus a lot of times, but it's about reining yourself in. It's about having, like, almost being a fisherman. Sometimes we get complacent, but it's about, and I've never fished, clearly. I'm trying to flip the wrist and that, but if I have fished in Cuba. What am I talking about? I have done the fishing thing, but yeah, it's about reining yourself in. How I stay motivated is, personally, you lot can't see it, but on my wall, I have a little A4 piece of paper with blue tack, and it's got everything I want to achieve in life and who I want to do it for, and who I want to do it for, specifically why I want to do it. So every time I lose focus, I remember why I'm doing it. And if I don't feel necessarily care about why I'm doing my life and trying to better myself in general for myself, then I think about my family. I think about putting smiles on their faces, just wanting to, who doesn't want to put on for their family and just do nice things and just be someone positive to people around them and try and uplift? Who doesn't want to do, what real guy don't want to do that? Like, especially when you come from where we come from in general, people, you don't want to do that. So I just think about that. I just think about the doubters as well. I think about the self-doubt, because I always say, you can be your worst enemy. You know how many things I've said to myself, dude, you can never do that. You can't do that. And then I look at myself like, you're a waste, man. How can you say you can never do that? So it's about defeating that voice in your head. I found myself, I don't know how to describe it, but have you found yourself at one point, like, someone might ask you something or in general, and you automatically just say no. There was a period I was doing that, or we all do that, and I still do that to a degree, but I'd stop myself. I'd think, like, after I'd go and think, like, why am I actually saying no? Like, obviously, I'm not saying say yes to a mad thing, but you think to yourself, now, why am I actually saying no? Like, why am I saying no to this? Why am I saying no? Like, what's personally wrong with this? Do you get it, my guy? Do you get it, people? Like, what's wrong with this? Why am I saying no to this? And then sometimes it's about, and I thought to myself, let me stop doing that, and it's allowed me to get out of my comfort zone and do more things. Being on YouTube every day, I'm comfortable to a degree with it now. I still get a bit, not nervous, but it's a bit like when you go on to go back to another question, when you go on the Arsenal Fan TVs and these other platforms, it's a bit mad. It's like, the first time I went on Arsenal Fan TV, like, obviously I've been on platforms and I know Robbie and that, but it's like, it was a bit different. Like, I waited for my turn and that. Obviously, cameraman's there, Robbie's with his mic, and it's like, just before Robbie started speaking and he pushed the mic to me, like, everything stopped, and it's like, raw, like, we're about to really do this. Cool, let's do this, let's talk. Boom. So It's about just bigger picture, my guy. It's trying to be better than you was yesterday, man. Just trying to just proving myself, man. Like yourselves, man. That's it, really. Papayas asked, can Kimmich reach Lahm's level? Now, Lahm had extremely high levels of consistency and quality, so it's beyond being a footballer. He was clearly a man that was disciplined in everything. Of course, I don't know, man, this could all be wrong, but disciplined in everything he was doing in his life. Diet, sleep, everything. And the Pep must have just made it madder when they crossed each other's paths. So, again, that could all be nonsense, because, again, I don't know that to be true, but Lahm strikes me as a man that's on that. If Kimmich wants to be a right back long term and he does what Lahm does, and then who knows, man, but I'm not sure, because Lahm is like I said, Lahm and Alves for me were the two reference points as a fullback. But I don't know, it's down to him. Does he want to be a fullback full time? I know he gets put there for Munich a couple times and that, and he does it for Germany, but does he want to do that? It's up to him and his coaches, really. Finally, Taz has asked, can Dennis Serkin be better than Ryan Sessegnon? You know Serkin's my guy. He's a very decent player for me. I think he's a good player. If he works hard, then you never know, man. Obviously, run your contract down, bro, and come to the Arsenal. But I like him a lot, man. Obviously, he plays for Spurs and that. But yeah, he's a decent player, man. I think another question's been deleted, but I'm so sure I remember it. Diabolical, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure you asked me a question along the lines of, again, apologies, but you asked me, why have England's under 17s not done well? The 20s in Toulon. And I can't remember the other age group, or if there was another age group. Well, against France, we let ourselves down in the under-17s level. We should have taken 3 points. We've done well at youth level, and everybody has their time. Our time's still here, but you can't win it all the time. We've done kind of terrible in Toulon. Like, we're out of it, but more or less now. We can't go to the final in that. But we won it for, 3-4 years in a row. Can't always be there. The bigger picture is the pipeline and the talent pool coming through. Of course, we lost it in disappointing fashion, but there's a lot of things players will learn from. Like I said, the France game against our under-17s level, biggest game we could have learnt from. I'm sure we lost the game. Again, it's been long, but I can't remember. But if we took 3 points from that game, we could have got out the group and done better things. So it's about learning away from being technical good footballers, the cerebral approach that is required, especially in tournament football. That's why I like tournament football. Shout out to Noni Madueke as well. I can't say his name correctly. The former Spurs lad, he went to PSV. I think he's a very good player, as do I think Janil Bennett is for England's under-18s. England's under-18s, we bottled it against France. Spain, it went to penalties. But you just can't do it all the time, my guy. It just happens, innit? Like, we've been bullying and beating up teams for how many years now, and we have done it previously. It don't happen, because you got some good players in France. I don't think people are paying attention necessarily to Holland, and I think in general it's completely irrelevant. But I think if you've been watching the Toulon and the under-20s, the Asian nations, the South Koreas, the Japans, even China's fairly decent in Toulon. Forgive me if I'm wrong and they're not in that. The Asian nations got some decent players that if scouts are really paying attention, they can find some youths there and bring them over and that. But hopefully that answers your question, my G, man. On that note, I'm going to get out of here. So people, Deluded, stay safe. Deluded, I'm out.